Right, hi. Just going to show you how to do these searches, trying to make them a bit more general so we can get a few more hits. So the first phrase we were looking at was, I'm the one putting a stop to it. Now, as I explained, when we do this search there are no matches. So what we might want to do is say, okay, it doesn't matter who the subject is, it could be lots of different people. So we'll just say putting a stop to it. This makes it a bit more general, maybe we'll get more hits. Ah, and here we get 2. Okay, next stage, we might think 2's not really enough hits. So let's look for all forms of the verb. There are 2 ways of doing this, but this is the easiest way. This looks for puts, putting, put. And let's have a look, see how many hits we get. Okay, this time we've got 34. This is a lot better. It's still not great, to be honest. So let's try one more. And we might think that it, I mean, you could put a stop maybe to different things, not just it. So if we just put nothing there, we should get some more hits. And here we go, 152. Put a stop to, yeah, things like this, put a stop to that, put a stop to some kind of problem or difficulty maybe. And then we've got 152 here, so we could probably have a look at the distribution. And we'd notice immediately that it's quite a bit more common in written than in spoken. And it's really not representative of spoken conversation at all, with only 2 hits. Let's just have a quick look at them. Well, it does happen, it's just not very common. Okay, let's try another one, the next one, which was to sink to their level. As I mentioned, you search for this one. There's no matches. So we think about how we can make it a bit more general. As before, we could look for different forms of sink. Sink, sinking, sank, sinks. And that means doing that. And also we might notice that there could be his, her, my. So we can look for all those different options like this. Not for our. Let's see what happens this time. We only get 1 hit. That's not too great. Okay, well maybe there are other words in here, like my, like, you know, this particular person's. So we can then have a quick check for, use this search. Plus means there's 1 word in between. This star means it's an optional word. Maybe it's there, maybe it isn't. So this looks for 1 or 2 words in between to and level. And this gives us, should give us 10 hits. So it's better. It's still not great. I'm not that convinced really that we could use this as evidence. The fact is that just some idioms are a bit rarer, and we just have to say that, you know, they just don't occur often enough for us to be able to find them. So that's a shame, but it's too bad. Okay, let's look at the last one, and this was lead to trouble. It'll only lead to trouble. So if I just look for lead to trouble, I get 8. Again, it's not really enough, is it? So what can I do? I can do this, look for all forms of the verb lead, and hopefully that'll be a bit better. It is a bit better, it's still not great, is it? 14 hits. So like I suggested, we could look for lead to We'll get probably quite a large number of hits. Oh, 14,000. Okay, what we can now do at this stage is look for words that come here, just after lead to, and see if there are any other words which are like trouble. And we do this by going to collocations, go, then on this page just click submit, that's fine. And we'll see a whole different bunch of words. Don't seem to be any that are like trouble. But of course some of them are verbs, some of them are nouns. What we're interested in is nouns, because those will come after the word. So we can do any noun. Let's see what happens. Okay, already it's looking a bit better, isn't it? So we've got loss. Okay, it's a bad thing. Probably confusion, problems, collapse is not good. Fall, decline. Trouble doesn't come in here, but there's quite a few difficulties as well. Quite a few negative words. So what we could do now is, well, if you're interested, you can do this. You can actually download it, so you remember. Here we are. Get rid of that. Here we are, let's see. Ah, there we are. Okay, so I've got this list so I can remember which words are there. Now we can go back to look at lead to. It was, well, to save me typing it, I can just do this and put in some of the words that we found. So we want trouble, because that was the one we had originally. Confusion was another. Problems. Collapse isn't a good thing. These words might be slightly different from the ones in the sheet, but the principle's basically the same. Let's see what we get if we look for these. $125 hits, that's not bad. But like I say, that there might be a word between, so lead to big trouble, lead to major trouble, or major problems. So we can always try and account for that by putting in, allow for an optional word here. And we get 272 hits. Now that's really quite good, which means that we could probably have a look at the distribution and get a good idea of how this is used. Oh, it's very much spoken, we can see, and it seems to be more academic, unpublished. Spoken conversation, it doesn't happen at all. So we can see there's a clear evidence that this is, lead to trouble is not generally used in spoken conversation. Okay, well hopefully that'll help you with your searches. Do contact me if you've got any questions.